Hello everyone, I am String and welcome again to my channel. So today, I wish there was others today down here. Today, Dungeons & Dragons released a new Unearthed Arcana article, and it's just FEATS. So Unearthed Arcana is official playtest material, so it's written by Dungeons & Dragons design team, but it is not fully released for the game because it's playtest, so you have to play it and test it, and they say you can use it in your campaign, but it's not refined by the full game development, so it's not officially part of the game, but it is more official than homebrew content. So I just want to go ahead and read through these just because they're here. There's a lot of them, I guess. I've read through the first two when I saw this, but I wanted to go ahead and read through the rest of them for the first time with you guys. So the first one is Artificer Initiate. So it's similar to like the Magic Initiate officially published feat, except Artificer was released after that. So they released the feat for the Artificer Initiate after that. So you get, similar to the Magic Initiate, you get one cantrip of your choice and one first level spell from your choice from the artificial spell list, and your spellcasting modifier is intelligence because that's what the artificer's spellcaster modifier is. When you gain a level, you can replace one of these spells with another spell of the same level from the spell list. You can cast this feat's first level spell without a spell slot, but you must finish a long rest before you can do it this way again. You can also cast the spell using any spell slots you have. You gain proficiency with one type of artisan tools, and you can use that tool as a spellcasting focus. For any spell, not just the artificer spells, but you have to use intelligence as its casting ability. So that one's nice. It's just Magic Initiate, but with artificer flavoring. So it's cool. So Chef is the next one. Time and effort spent mastering the culinary arts is paid off. You gain the following benefits. You get Con or Wisdom by 1. You get proficiency with cook's utensils if you don't already have it. And then, this is the kicker, when you have a short rest, you can cook special food, provided you have ingredients and your cook's utensils on hand, and you can prepare enough of this food for a number of creatures equal to 4, so that's like the standard recommended party size, plus your proficiency bonus. Any creature who eats the food spends 1 or more hit die, gains an extra 1d8 hit point. So it adds a benefit for cooking to short rests, which is nice. And then the last one is with 1 hour of work or when you finish a long rest, you can cook a number of treats equal to your proficiency bonus. These special treats last 8 hours. A creature can use a bonus action to eat one of these treats to gain temporary hit points equal to your proficiency bonus. So it adds actual gameplay benefits to cooking, and increases the, people who want to roleplay that aspect now get rewarded for it, which I think is really cool. Crushers. This is the first of the ones that I haven't read. You go practice in the art of crushing your enemies, granting you the following benefits. Increase your strength or dex by 1. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack that deals bludgeoning damage, you can move it 5 feet to an unoccupied space, provided the target is no more than one size larger than you. So they can be one size larger than you, and you can still move it. Cool. When you score a critical hit that deals bludgeoning damage to a creature, attack rolls against that creature are made with advantage until the end of your next turn. So when you're using a bludgeoning weapon and you hit someone, you can move them 5 feet to an unoccupied space. So if they're obviously right in front of you and you smack them, then you can move them either to the left or to the right, which could move them in range of your ally or away from your ally. Eldritch Adept. So this is for anyone with spellcasting or a warlock. So studying occult lore, you have unlocked Eldritch power within yourself. You learn 1 Eldritch invocation from the warlock class. If the invocation has a prerequisite, you can only choose that if you're a warlock and only if you meet the prerequisite. So if you only have spellcasting and you're not a warlock, then you can't pick a prerequisite requiring invocation, which is interesting. When you gain a level, you can replace the invocation with another one, if you would like. Cool. I like that. Adding Eldritch invocations to other classes seems nice. Your exposure to the Feywild or one of its denizens has left a magical mark on you. You gain the following benefits. You can increase either intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 1. You learn Misty Step, and 1 first level spell of your choice. It doesn't actually have a restriction on it. Oh, must be from the divination or enchantment schools. You can cast each of these spells without expending a spell slot. Once you cast either of these spells in this way, you can't cast that spell again. So you can do this with each of your spells once. Until you finish a long rest, you can also cast these using spell slots that you have of the appropriate level. The spell's spellcasting ability is the ability increased by this feat. Interesting. So you could be a charisma caster like a sorcerer or a bard, and then pick in wisdom, say, because you want to increase your perception. That means that whatever your Misty Step and your other first level spell of your choice, use wisdom as their spellcasting modifier instead of your charisma, which is interesting. It adds more decision to which ability score you want to improve. I like that. Fighting Initiate. Prerequisite. Proficiency with a martial weapon. Your martial training has helped you develop a particular style of fighting. As a result, you learn 1 fighting style option of your choice from the fighter class. If you already have a style, the one you choose must be different. When you gain a level, you can replace this feat's fighting style with another one from the fighter class that you don't have. That's cool. You just get an extra fighting style and the ability to change that if you want to change up your character's fighting style. Pretty cool. Alright, Gunner. You have Quick Hand and Key Eye when employing firearms. So when you have firearms, you gain proficiency with firearms, okay. You get an extra dex. You ignore the loading property of firearms, that's nice. Being within 5 feet of a hostile creature doesn't impose disadvantage. So it's essentially just crossbow expert, but with firearms. I like it. Expanding to different types of characters is nice. Metamagic Adept. You've learned to... it also requires spellcasting or pack magic. You've learned how to exert your will on the spells to alter how they function. You gain the following benefits. You learn 2 metamagic options from the sorcerer class. You can use only 1 metamagic option on a spell when you cast it, unless the spell says otherwise. When you gain a level, you can replace one of your metamagic options with another you gain from the sorcery class, and you gain 2 sorcery points to spend on metamagic. You gain all sorcery points when you finish a long rest. So this is like the Eldritch Adept one, except it's for sorcerer features. So I like this. They're essentially allowing more varied types of characters to happen, because if normally you would have wanted metamagic, you would have had to put 2 points into 2 levels into sorcerer. Now you don't have to do that. You can just take the feat. So it allows you to splash small little features from other classes into yours without having to take levels in those classes, allowing for much greater character diversity. Alright, Piercer. I feel like this is going to be like Crusher, but with piercing damage. Increase your strength or dex by 1 once per turn when you hit a creature that deals piercing damage against a creature. You can re-roll one of the attack's damage die, and you must use... That's pretty cool. So, something that uses piercing damage, like if you roll... I think a short sword does piercing damage. So if you re-roll your d6 and you get a 1, then you can re-roll it and get a higher than a 1, hopefully. When you score a critical hit, you can roll 1 additional damage die when determining the extra piercing damage the target takes. Okay, so when you crit, instead of getting advantage, you get an extra damage die, and then when you hit them, instead of being able to move them, like in Crusher, you just get to re-roll your damage die, which is also pretty cool. Poisoner. You can prepare and deliver deadly poisons, gaining the following benefits. When you make a damage roll, you ignore resistance to poison damage. You can coat a weapon in poison as a bonus action instead of a whole action. You gain proficiency with the Poisoner's Kit if you don't already have it, with 1 hour of work using a Poisoner's Kit and expending 50 gold worth of materials. You can create a number of doses of potent poison equal to your proficiency bonus. Once applied, the poison remains potent retains potency for 1 minute or until you hit with the weapon. Okay, so when you apply your poison, it'll stay there for 1 minute or until you hit, so you have 10 rounds. When a weapon coated in this poison deals damage to a creature, the creature must succeed on a DC 14 con save or take 2d8 damage and become poisoned. So the poisoned effect is kind of OP, so that's pretty nice to have. Yeah, so you get... So with 1 hour, so essentially when your party takes a short rest, if you want to, instead of taking that short rest, or maybe while taking your short rest, you can use your Poisoner's Kit and 50 gold. You can create a number of doses of potent poison equal to your proficiency bonus. So let's say it's 2, you get 2 potent poisons. In combat, as a bonus action, you can apply that potent poison and then take your action to hit someone with it. And if they fail the DC, they take an extra 2d8 and become poisoned. That's pretty cool. Practiced Expert. You've honed your proficiency with particular skills or tools, gaining the following benefit. So you just get 1 ability score increased by 1. You get proficiency with 1 skill or tool of your choice. Choose one of your skill or tool proficiencies. Your proficiency, so it gives you expertise essentially in something. But the nice thing is that it lets you use tools as well. So you can become, like, let's say, proficient in poison. You can become proficient in your Poisoner's Kit. I wonder if this is intended. It doesn't read that way, but if you maybe used Practice Expert on your tool proficiency with your Poisoner's Kit, then you double your proficiency bonus. So let's say you had the max proficiency bonus of 5. I think it's 5. Then you get 10 doses of poison you can make. That'd be pretty cool. Shadow Touch. You learn how to bend shadows from your experience with the Shadowfell. You gain the following benefits. Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma. So this is like Fey Touched, right? Yeah, okay. Makes sense. My brain's small. You learn Darkness and 1 first level spell of your choice. From either Illusion or Necromancy. You can, so it's the same rules as Fey Touched, except instead of Misty Step, you get Darkness, and instead of a Divination or Enchantment, you get an Illusion or Necromancy spell. I like it. It lets you splash in magic a lot easier to your character without needing to take levels in a Shadow Touched class. So whether that's Shadow, Magic, Sorcerer, Hexblade Warlock, I think is the Shadowfell one. You get just to pick a feature instead. A feat, and get those features instead. Really nice. So shield training. You train in the effective use of shields. You gain the following benefits. Strength, Dex, or Con increased by 1. You gain proficiency with shields. You can don or doff a shield as the free object interaction on your turn. That's cool. So you can... Shield training right here is going to go really well with Fighting Initiate. If you take dueling and then something that requires shield training, because then you can yeet your shield off and then get benefits from one. You can yeet your shield on to get benefits from the other, allowing you to change your fighting style, not even like between battles, but on the whim during a battle, which I think is really nice. If you have the spellcasting or pact magic feature, you can use a shield as a spellcasting focus. That's really cool. I love that. So if you're like a paladin and you, for whatever reason, don't have a spellcasting focus, or maybe it's just more thematic, you want to use your shield as a spellcasting focus, or you splash into a class that has spellcasting and you don't have a spellcasting focus, you have like material pouch instead, you can use your shield as one. I love that. I really like this tacked on third little bullet point here. Alright, Slasher. I'm sure this is the same thing as Crusher and Piercer, but for slashing damage. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack that deals slashing damage, you can reduce the speed of the target by 10 feet until the start of your next turn. So not 10 feet, but by 10 feet. Which, obviously it's weaker than 10 feet, but it's still probably very good. When you score a critical hit that deals slashing damage to a creature, you grievously wound it. The target has disadvantage on all attack rolls. That's nice. I think slashing weapons are probably the more popular of the group. But yeah, I love these Slasher, Piercer, and Crusher. Those are all really nice. It helps you focus your character in towards a specific weapon type, and I think that's really flavorful and enjoyable. Tandem Technician. Your presence in a scrap tends to elevate your comrades. You gain the following benefits. You can use the help action as a bonus action. When you use the help action to aid an ally in attacking a creature, increase the range of the help action by 10 feet. Additionally, you can help 2 allies targeting the same creature within range when you... That's pretty cool. If your party is in a fight, instead of against a bunch of small creatures, but against a few large creatures... Or sorry, I shouldn't say small and large, but like weak creatures. Instead of a bunch of weak creatures, if your party's in a fight against a bunch of strong creatures, then you can help guide them towards like focusing someone down, essentially. And that's really cool. Take this on the Tactician build. Do it. Tracker. You have spent time hunting creatures and honed your skills, gaining the following benefits. Increase your wisdom score by 1 to a maximum of 20. You learn the Hunter's Mark spell. You must cast it without, you can cast it without expending a spell slot, and you must finish a long rest before you do it again. You can also cast the spell using any spell slots you have with Wisdom as your modifier. You have advantage on survival checks to track creatures. That's pretty cool. I think this is probably the worst one of the whole Unearthed Arcana article, both in terms of strength and flavor. I guess a Hunter's Mark is actually pretty good. So getting Hunter's Mark for free is pretty nice. And it lets you take it if you're not a ranger, which also is pretty nice. Lets you splash in more flavor. I just think that it's the least cool one of the group, but that's obviously just my opinion. Maybe it's not the weakest in terms of strength, because, I don't know, Chef's probably not that good. But, Hunter's Mark's nice, but is it worth getting rid of an ASI or taking something else instead? I don't know. But that's not the point of this video. I'm not going to go over the strength of all these. I just wanted to go ahead and read them to you, tell you that they're here, and I really liked this. I love all of these feats. I'm going to be incorporating them into future builds of mine that I'm still going to be doing. So yeah, if you like the video, please be sure to leave a like. If you want to see more, go ahead and stick around and hit the subscribe button. But for now, have a great day. See you out there.